you guys. Welcome to a new episode of Too Much with Shey
and Becca. Welcome back, y'all.
We hope you guys take a sip of water, sis. We hope you guys enjoyed our friendship episode. Every now and then we like to give you guys a little different content because why not? We're so excited to be back. Last week, although we know we dropped that friendship episode, the news was newsing. I'm like, they did not want to hear from us, but you know what? We back today, and although some of these topics may be old, they're new to us because we need to discuss.
Yes, definitely. I'm excited because, as Shayla said, a lot happens.
Yeah.
And I had went away to Puerto Rico, which we'll get into when we give our little breakdowns. But it was kind of our refresher episode before we got into all the news. And I was like, I chose the worst time to go away.
It's okay. Life is always lifing. If you are new here, thank you guys for watching. We hope you guys stay tuned. We have a lot in store. And also, if you are a reoccurring subscriber, thank you so much for supporting us. We appreciate you. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Let's start with you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for getting us to 203 subscribers. We appreciate you guys. We are building slowly but surely. But every subscribe, every comment, every like is just reassurance for us that you guys like what we're doing. And we appreciate you guys beyond words. If I don't comment that I appreciate you, I just want to say it now. I appreciate you. So thank you guys so much for just being with us on this little journey.
And if you are a reoccurring viewer, I am an avid YouTube watcher, so I know this happens. If this is your second, third time watching us, pause this video and check if you are subscribed, because sometimes you think you be subscribed, but you don't. So just double check. And let's get into our weekly rundown. What's happening? So tell us, Rebecca, what's happening in your week?
Yes. So as I mentioned, I did go away to Puerto Rico for my cousin's bachelorette trip. Shout out to you, Ernessa, and Marcus. If you guys are watching this, Marcus wasn't with us, but they getting married. So shout out to him,
Shout out to love. We love love.
Oh my gosh. Literally, I was telling my cousin that I was like, because I decided to vlog. And when I put that vlog together, y'all gonna see, we was litty titty in the piece. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, in the vlog, I was basically saying, I was like, yo, this is a celebration of love, regardless of if you're getting married, single, in a relationship or whatever. Love can be found anywhere, in friendships, in relationships, in marriage, in anything. So it's the moment that you have to celebrate that, make sure that you do that, because I feel like as everyday people, we stress so much about everything happening around us that sometimes we don't get to celebrate the smallest things, such as love. So make sure you guys do that. Puerto Rico, I want to say, I thought I was broken, right? I was like, because y'all remember when we went to the Bahamas, everybody rating this thing like a 7, an 8. And me, I'm like, oh, it was a 5. And so I'm thinking, maybe I'm just not a vacation goer. Y'all, I give Puerto Rico an 8.5 out of 10. And the reason why it's not a 10 out of 10.
Shout out to my country. Well, island.
Okay. Girl. All right. And the reason why it's not a 10 is because I was seeing bugs I ain't never seen before. And Shayla's going to say, well, you were on an island.
Rebecca has never traveled to a Caribbean island before. I know she's saying the Bahamas, but you wasn't outside in the Bahamas. We were in, we went to a man-made island, and then we went to another place that we were there for 1 second. So to her, this is a new thing, but insects love new blood. Everyone that travels to a new island for the first time, they usually always get bit and come back with $20.
Okay, y'all, literally, even though I bought souvenirs from Puerto Rico, what I came back with was 19 mosquito bites. I counted. I got 8 on my shoulder and back alone. I'm like, I knew I tasted like Kool-Aid, but baby, they must have changed the recipe in my blood. I don't know. I'm like, dag.
They know that you're new here, so they are like, "Oh, what's this? This is a new flavor. We ain't never had this."
Too, but half of them ain't get bit like me. They bypassed everybody and went straight to your girl. Literally, I think one of them crawled into my underwear and bit me on my butt because I did not Anyway, I loved Puerto Rico. I definitely want to go back. I told Shayla I'm gonna try a girls trip again, and I want us to go to Costa Rica. And Shayla said, if you ain't like the bugs in Puerto Rico, you definitely.
Especially if you want to go to like the rainforest. Girl, that's bug central. Rebecca does not like the outside. I like the outside. So, girl, I think you're gonna need what off not gonna be enough for you and the bugs.
Nah, I'm gonna need true repellent. If you guys know a strong repellent, like let me know, because y'all, I was tore up. And then also when we were going to sleep at night, I was like, dag, these birds don't shut up. Then come to find out, that's the sound of the country
Coqui.
frog.
Yes.
I said,
Coqui.
I was like, I ain't never heard of frog. I don't do amphibians. So
I was telling Rebecca she was giving very much American. When like I don't know if you've seen the TikToks, but like of people when you travel to other countries, you need to be open-minded and understand that your reality back in America is not the reality of most people. I'm not saying specifically about Rebecca because Rebecca is, I don't want to say she go with the flow, but you know, Rebecca is bougie. But I
do
think
you
like
even know
Rebecca is more like down with whatever. There are more like people that are on a whole other level where like they go to another country and are pissed that they don't speak English. Like Rebecca will she's not gonna be mad about that. But there are
girl,
people that will go to another country and be mad because they don't speak the language or they don't have American food. And it's like, sweetie, this is not your country. Unlike America that wants everyone to assimilate, it's their country. You know what I mean? Like, be for
right,
real.
right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like if I stayed in Puerto Rico for like a good 2 weeks, I would have lost 30 pounds. I was hungry. I felt like I don't know.
She
But
didn't go to the right places to eat.
but also I wanted to say really quickly, what was I gonna say? Also, right. So my cousins and I were staying at an Airbnb and all that, right? So there was one day we trying to Uber eat some food. So I was like, okay, we could put this on my card and then whatever we do, whatever with the payments after, right? So we ordered from this one spot, bless you. We ordered from this one spot, bless you. Shayla,
Thank you. You don't have to
huh,
say
okay.
thank you.
I've reached my quota.
Girl, don't you hate that people that are if first of all, if you don't say bless you, I would be mad. But like, how you mad that I'm sneezing? Like,
Because
I can't
after the
control
second
that.
sneeze, like we got the point.
Girl,
Like we got it.
please don't say bless you then. Thank you though. Continue. Uber
So
Eats.
right. So Uber Eats, I ordered the food. The total came out to like 149 or whatever for everybody. Cool, calm, collected. We ordered it, it goes through. But the place literally canceled our order. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So like that was a whole debacle for like a whole like hour. So everybody ended up just ordering their own food individually. I guess the people didn't want to do large group orders, whatever. I come back on Monday of this week. On Tuesday, I look at my bank account and I see the totals of the stuff that was taken out of my account. And I was like, how y'all gonna charge me for 149 and take it out as if I got my food? So I called my bank and I was like, yeah, we gotta dispute this because I didn't get food. So one of the questions that they ask me when you call is like, did you benefit from this in any way? What?
No, I was like frozen for a bit.
Oh. So one of the questions that they asked was like, oh, like, did you benefit from this in any way? So I told the lady, I was like, no, because I didn't get my food. So how would I have benefited? Apparently, whatever. So the next day, I go to try to pay some bills. My card is saying decline. I was like, nah, I ain't no brokey. I know it's in my account. Literally, I need these. Like, why are these payments not, like my card declined? I want to say 7 times, and some of the things I had to pay for, my card just was not going through. So I'm stressed. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, did I get hacked? Like, what happened? So I called the bank again, and I said to them, I was like, okay, I don't know, maybe it's because the dispute's happening, but none of the stuff is going through. Like, I'm trying to pay bills and stuff. And they were like, oh, well, it's because your card was closed. I said, what do you mean closed? And like the lady was like, she said it like 3 times, because to me, when she said close, it was not clicking to me. I'm like, what do you like? What do you mean close? Like, what are you talking about? And so then she apparently said, because when I answered the question, they asked, did I get any benefits from it? Because I said no, I was supposed to say yes. And because I said no, they closed my card. I'm like, okay, so why wouldn't y'all tell me that? And when were y'all going to tell me that my card was closed? Because I'm over here thinking that maybe I'm the problem, that maybe my job really ain't paid me and the money really ain't there. Girl, closed the whole account. So I had to go to the bank this morning and get a new card. that all this to say, y'all, TD Bank, y'all got me tore up. Okay.
This is exactly why I'm so big on doing things in person. I hate calling. I hate doing virtual stuff. Give me a real person, because I feel like things always get lost in translation and there's loopholes to everything. So, especially when it comes to that, my money, bank, girl, I need to see a real person because I got questions and no. But I'm glad you were able to resolve that.
Yeah, I was just like, girl. Oh, also, I know Shayla's gonna mention this, but Shayla and I are two different people when it comes to spoilers. Shayla doesn't want no type of spoilers. Me personally, I like a good spoiler. I
I
need
do
to know
not.
what to expect. Everybody who's been doing God's work and posting Beyonce's concert,
I
thank
hate that.
you. I know what to expect, and especially the outfits. I saw people complaining about, they were mad that people were showing off their Beyonce outfits like 2 months and a month in advance.
Why
No,
would you be mad about that?
right. I'm like, thank you guys, because one, first off, half these people who are showing off their outfits, they're showing like all this different creative stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to take the time out of my day to do that. But I love that you're doing that, because like you about to eat down, you know? But it's just like, there's some people talk about like, da da da, like, oh, some of y'all's outfits was trash anyway. Didn't nobody go to your account to see what you got on? Nobody follows you for your clothes or nothing. So why do you feel like you got an opinion on anything? Anyway.
Also, I just feel like it's kind of crazy how maybe this is just like a Beyonce focused thing, but like the amount of money that you paid to just go to the concert, you should be able to just really go you in a little tube top because you spent a band just to go to the concert. So it's like, let us be for real. Mind your business. It reminds me of like when people are in school and like, God forbid you don't got the Jordans or the JanSport. I thank God that He gave me the personality that I have, that I don't think really people came up to me because listen, I was raised broke. Okay, I never had name brand, nothing. So I was through the moon when I could afford 5-star notebooks. But like, how are you mad? Like, focus on you. If you created all your stuff and you got the money and you could do all of these
Right.
DIY outfits, I'm happy for you. But for you to sit there and try to clown others for what they're wearing, shut up. Like, what are you gaining from that? I think that's very extremely weird, especially how these ticket prices are right now.
Right. It's very out of touch. It's very much
Yes.
like, you think that you are a part of Project Runway. Baby, you wouldn't even be in the running to be a judge. So why do you feel like you can sit on TikTok and judge? But that's
But if you could be a part of we are happy for you. But the reality is that not everybody can. Okay, for my week, number one, if y'all remember, like 2 weeks ago, I was talking trash about allergies and how like people will say, "Oh, I got allergies," but they really be sick. I got my karma because allergies have been kicking my behind. I don't know if it's because of like the rain. The rain has been nonstop. We did have a good week, but the rain is about to start again
mhm.
tomorrow. My allergies have been horrible. And I have this very big thing where I do not like to drink medicine. I had to give me a little Claritin, honey, because I was now bad. Okay. Number two, I watched Sinners, the movie with Michael B. Jordan.
Stop. I
It
want
is,
to.
if y'all watch episodes, Rebecca does not like movies. So it was so good. If you guys have not watched it, I suggest it. It had suspense. It had, I love me a good little history. I love all about culture. Y'all know I love that. So it was amazing. I have no doubt that it's going to win lots of awards. And it was great. Next thing, listen, y'all know I'm Miss Independent for a lot of things. But when it comes to building or putting stuff up in my house, girl, get me a man. I'm so sorry. I had to buy some new shades this week. Girl, I opened up them little instructions and I said I might have to just return this because it was just, you need a drill, you need this. That's the one thing where I'm like, I need a man. I'm so like, gender roles, I'm all for equality, but when it comes to like building stuff and like, I just need a man. That's the one thing where like they'll catch me. My feminine energy on 1,000 when it comes
I
to
felt
building.
that. I feel like for me, like you said, I am very independent to the T. Like I put the I and the N and the D. You know what I'm saying? But once it comes to a car and bugs, y'all can keep it. Okay, y'all really can keep it. I understand, like, oh my God, gender roles, this, that, and third,
Yeah.
feminine movement. Nah, baby, bring that masculine energy
And
right.
I love all of that. It's just for certain stuff, my like womanhood, it skyrockets because I just can't. And like, yes, maybe I can, but it's like, girl,
Baby,
mm-mm.
I will stroke an ego. Here you go, baby.
So I
Please
think
push
that's
my
a key
car.
quality in my future husband. He needs to be able to like, but I want him to like it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
my brother-in-law loves to just like build. He don't even need the instructions for it. He just be knowing, like he just does it. And I'm like, period. And yeah, I ordered some new Warby Parker glasses, so that's exciting.
Oh my God. So, thoughts and
Warby
tips.
Parker, if you want to sponsor us, please. Thank you.
Well, I wasn't, listen, thoughts and tariffs, and y'all know Sheen prices going up,
Mm-hmm.
prices going up, Fashion
Mm-hmm.
Nova getting petty. They talk about, giving their own little text messages stuff out. But
Yeah.
before the tariffs had happened, I had bought these glasses from Sheen. And I was like, oh my God, like, I think these are really cute. But if y'all know, and if you don't know, I cannot see. Your girl is blind as a bat. Shayla will tell
She
you.
is so I'm not gonna say blind, but I cannot see from afar. Like I have contacts now. That's why you don't see my glasses. But I for real cannot exit out my house without contacts or my glasses. Rebecca moves through life, drives without glasses. She is not really blind.
No, I can't see for
No,
real.
yes, you can see. If
Shayla,
you couldn't see, Rebecca,
Shayla, how you gonna tell me about my eyesight?
because if you can drive without
I can
glasses,
drive without glasses.
yes, you do. You move through
When?
life. You move through life without glasses. Therefore, you're not blind.
Girl, I do things like this without glasses because
So
I can
you're not
see
blind.
somewhat, but I can't see for real. But long story short, I got these glasses from Shein for $1. And I said to my dad, I was like, because my dad's an optician. If you ain't know, now you know. I was like, yo, can you like put like my actual lenses in here? Girl, look at these. Look at these. Hold up. Bow. Bow, 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 bow. Y'all see?
Okay, period. Balling on a budget.
Okay. $1. $1.
Okay, well, we hope you guys enjoyed our weekly rundown. Now we're going to move into our news segment. So, as Rebecca was mentioning, tariffs, Trump has been trumping, you guys. Like, we could literally talk about the president of the United States, Donald Trump, every single day, but we choose peace. We choose happiness. So we're not going to talk about it. The tariffs have been tariffing every week. He creates a rule. He pushes it back. He says we're going to put tariffs 100%. Then like it's just a lot happening. So I'm not going to speak for Rebecca. I'll say I do think it is important for you guys to tap in and be informed on what is happening. But we choose peace. So instead, what I do want to show you is VP Kamala Harris, who had also run to be president, but as you guys know, she lost. She did step out for a gala, however you want to pronounce it. And in the clip that I'm gonna play for you guys, she expressed the importance of having good leadership, and I want you guys to listen to it because I concur.
That the American people deserve leaders who make their lives better and make our country stronger. But sadly, we have seen quite the opposite over these past few months. Now, I know tonight's event happens to coincide with the 100 days after the inauguration, and I'll leave it to others to give a full accounting of what has happened so far. But I will say this. Instead of an administration working to advance America's highest ideals, we are witnessing the wholesale abandonment of those ideals. And what we are also seeing in these last 14 weeks is Americans using their voice and showing their courage.
So here we are. We are the people. We try to show courage by, every week trying to like keep you guys updated a little bit of like the Trump being Trump. But listen, it's hard truths. You're gonna feel it in your wallet. Some people say that we're just being alarmist. Da, da, da. America wanted what they either really wanted or they thought they wanted, and all action have consequences. Okay, Trump is now trying to blame when he has a good economy. He's like, oh yeah, it's all on me. But when it's something bad, he's like, oh no, I inherited this from Biden. So you can't have, what's it saying? You can't have your cake and eat it too, something like that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Politics is politicking the same way that life is, and so
The
we move
White
on.
House, the White House had posted something. And they were like, the only DEI we support is deport every illegal. It's just like, who sat there?
It's just this, like, it's actually disgusting and appalling how they make a joke out of real serious issues and real life people. But God forbid when the roles are reversed and like we do anything, we're the worst people ever. But anyways, on to the next topic that happened while Rebecca was in Puerto Rico, but we wanted to talk about it. Okay, Shannon Sharpe. If you don't know who Shannon Sharpe is, he is a ex NFL player. Let me show you a photo of him right here. This is him. This is Shannon Sharpe. He's an ex NFL player, but he is also a correspondent, I guess you would call him, or a talking head on ESPN.
Yeah, and then he has his own he has his
Nightcap
own
podcast.
podcast, but then he also has one with Ocho Cinco.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own, which is Nightcap with whatever him. And then the one that he has, no, Nightcap is the one he has with Ocho.
Yes. He
Right.
is. So essentially, like, it's really like a pop culture thing. He talks about like at the end of the night, at night, he literally like recaps all the main topics that have happened that day. But also, you guys have probably seen he interviews people, and a lot of his interviews have gone viral through his other podcast where he had what was the name of the comedian? Cat Williams.
Cat Williams. He also had Kiki Palmer. He's
right.
He's had a lot of names, like
yeah.
names.
But a lot of those podcast episodes have gone viral. And so the moral of the story is that Shannon Sharpe is a big name when it comes to not only sports, but just culture, right? And so last week, Shannon Sharpe had decided to step away from ESPN temporarily after being sued for assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. He has denied the allegations in the lawsuit brought on by an anonymous woman, right? We saw Shannon publish some one-sided text and some sort of phone call audio, right? Like after it was published that he was being sued, Shannon took it upon himself, or maybe him and his legal people thought that it was a smart move. I don't know. But he released some one-sided text messages. So he was just releasing everything that this woman had said, but not his responses. And then TMZ leaked a supposed audio in which you can hear, Shannon Sharpe saying some things that were not very nice. So I was just like, I don't know what's happening here. So it's important to know, right, that Shannon Sharpe is 56 now, and the woman that's involved in this lawsuit, or that brought the lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe, at the time that they started dating, she was 20 years old. Okay. And according to CNN, the suit was filed in Las Vegas District Court by Jane Doe. So it hasn't been confirmed who this person is, because in the lawsuit it's Jane Doe, meaning it hasn't been published like who the woman is. And she accuses, again, the name of the podcast that we talked about, Club Shay host, of, quote, manipulating and controlling the plaintiff during a nearly 2-year period that started in 2023 as a consensual relationship when the woman was 20 years old. In the complaint, she alleges that Shannon Sharpe violently sexually assaulted her anally and raped her. So a lot of stuff. She said that he blatantly ignored her request for him to stop, and the complaint is seeking compensatory compensatory. The complaint is seeking compensatory and punitive damages of more than $50 million. There are some rumors. I'm not going to get into or not because I haven't seen it been confirmed by like an actual outlet that I find that's trustworthy. But like people are alleging that the Jane Doe is a woman that also had an OnlyFans account. So that doesn't make it neither right or wrong. So what was your response when you first saw these allegations or this lawsuit being brought against Shannon Sharpe?
I think with almost like a lot of lawsuits that we've been seeing over these past few years, because I feel like in the last year or two, we've seen a different lawsuit every day, basically. I definitely wait to see like what more information comes out, because it's very easy for you to be like, I'm gonna choose the side of the person being accused, or I'm choosing the side of the victim. Like me, I'm looking to see like what's coming out, because everybody's going to post things like you mentioned earlier. Like Shannon Sharpe posted these like one-sided text messages. Like you're going to post whatever is going to benefit the narrative, right? So I think as everything is continuously come out, like I've been waiting to see, like I'm like, okay, like what's this person gonna say? What's this person doing? Like what are the attorneys saying? So like to me, I don't really have an opinion as of right now. I've like connected with Shannon Sharpe's content when it is those viral moments, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm not sitting here checking for Shannon Sharpe, right? And I don't know if this is like you mentioned, the girl was 20 at the time, and he was how old when he was dating her?
Well, if this happened 2023, 24, 25, it was 2 years ago. So 56, 55, he was like 54.
54. So a 54-year-old with a 20-year-old, right? Now,
Or
as
maybe it was 3 years
someone,
ago. I don't know.
huh?
I'm trying to do the math, but let's say for this sake, it was 50. What
Like
is it?
54, 54.
Right.
Yeah. As someone who has been a younger girl talking to someone older, um I think whenever I see things like this happen and you hear people say this is why you need to date within your age range, like I think that is an important thing to mention, because I know when I was younger and I was talking to these people who were older than me, there is a disconnect in terms of life experience, conversation, and mentality. There is a difference, right? And I just feel like Shannon Sharpe is one of those people. He's kind of like Shaq. They're always with the like the youngest thing that they can find. Like they just want to look like that dude who's I can bag anything, I can bag anyone. And it's just like it gets to a point where you realize you are consistently stroking your ego for what? Like you have to sit there and really figure out, what are you stroking your ego for? Who are you trying to get the approval from? Like I get it, even though your status and your popularity, it speaks a lot of volume and you can get a lot of people. I don't think you need to go for everyone that you can, who's going to throw themselves at you. Right. So like as a 20-year-old, if I'm throwing myself at a 54-year-old at the time, as a 54-year-old, I need you got like I'm over here, I'm young, I'm impressionable, I'm doing everything I can to just try and get to the hottest and the biggest thing. But you as a 54-year-old, you have been through life. You have seen all these different things. You've had your own experiences. You have to sit there and take a stand and say, nah, like you're too young for me. And I think this is like an old clip or something that I've seen where like somebody like Shannon Sharpe was like, oh, everybody's talking about like, I need to date within my age. I need to date within my age while I date within my wage. And it's like, what wage do you think a 20-year-old has? Unless you dating a nepo baby. Like, I don't understand what you thought this was.
Yeah, I think there is a track record with men who have a lot of money and also status. They get some sort of fulfillment from dating women that have less than them. And I'm talking about economically speaking, career speaking, and also just like status wise, right? Like they get a high off of knowing that I am that quote unquote dominant man and you do what I say. They get a high off of that. And given there are women that are okay with that, right? Like there are women that actually prefer that. I don't want to work. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to, I want my man to pay everything and do the things. So I think it is it's just sad, right? Because if you at a certain point, like you're 50, you again, if you don't want to have kids, that's absolutely fine. But like settle down. You know what I mean? Like have a conversation with God, or if you don't believe in God, just have like a well, he does believe in God. I think he does. I think he is religious. But like have a conversation with Jesus. You need to settle down with someone your age. Stop with that. Not like, and I get it. Some people just like to date older and whatever. But I think at some point we need to cut that. We need to cut it because you are not going to ever, and again, I may be wrong and I'm just very blindsided with my way of thinking, but like a 50-year-old and 20-year-old, you cannot look me straight in the face and say that you for real love this man. I'm so sorry. You don't. I'm in my late 20s and I'm telling you right now, I am not about to be dating no 54-year-old. We are in a completely different stages of our lives. And yes, he could probably give me everything that I want in the sense of like we could fly out every weekend and we can do this and we can do that. But like, again, a 20-year-old's mindset, like, they're probably like just starting to figure out life. And in terms of like, this whole sexual assault case is like, they're even trying to figure out their sexual life, what they like, what they don't like. And you're at this age, a 54-year-old, you're probably have done everything in the books. And you probably don't have like the mentality or space to want to like wait for her because you are so old and you've experienced it all. And to you, you're saying like, oh, well, I've been done anal every other time. Like, what you mean? You don't want me to, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things mentally and life wise that are just so apart that, sometimes it doesn't matter how many times you try to like give advice. I think Monique, I might be messing her up with another person, but like I think he had her on the podcast and she literally said like, listen, you need to settle down with someone your age. Stop trying to look for these young girls. Stop. And lo and behold, he probably went in one ear out the other, and look now.
And I want to preface this by also saying, like, we're not saying that this conversation that we're having about like the age gap and differentials and stuff like that is any excuse that if he did do all
No.
these things that the woman is claiming that, oh, it's because of the age and stuff like that. Like, no, what we're saying is, as someone like, and I'm only talking from my experience, as someone who has been 20 years old, in their 20s, in their like 18 to 20s or whatever like that, who have talked to older men and stuff like that, it's like, it gets to a point like where I look at how like I was then and I look at the mindset that I have now and I'm like, Rebecca, honestly, like what about that situation did you think was actually meant for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, yes, I fault myself, but I'm also like, if a grown man had looked at me dead in my face, it was like, like, you're very young, like, look for someone who's more your age, someone who fits more of your mindset, grow and learn yourself and do what you need to do, then I would be like, yeah, you're right. But it's just like, also, if you willing to go with it and me being young and me being like, oh my God, like da 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 da, and I'm gonna just keep rocking and rolling and doing whatever I do, it's like, at one point, like from both parties, y'all guys sit there and look at what is best for me and suitable for me mentally. What works best for me in the direction of my life? What works best with me when it comes to life expectations? As a 50-year-old, I'm going to have completely different expectations than a 20-year-old who is still looking at life. We're going to have two different expectations out of life. And to your point, when it comes to like sexual and stuff like that, you are learning your likes, you're learning your dislikes, you're learning your comfortability levels and what you're not comfortable with. At 50 years old, you already know what you like. You already settled into it. And if you don't know what that is, what it's like, you go with people who are experienced in those ways to see what it is that you like. But you stick with what you know, stick within your like age. Like I would say, if you 50 years old, the youngest you should probably be going to is maybe like 45, maybe.
Yeah. And also this brings up the importance of consent. Just because I consent to kiss you or to go to second base, that doesn't mean that, oh, because I said yes to second base, you automatically gonna hit the home run.
Okay.
No. If by the time we hit the second base, I say stop, or I don't feel comfortable, or I don't want to continue, and you continue, that is sexual assault. That is rape. You know what I mean? Like, I think as a whole, like women, men, all species, like we have to make it really clear what consent means. Just because I consent to one thing doesn't mean that you can go all the way. No. If by the time like I said, if I get to one point and I say no or stop it, you need to stop it. And I understand, well, not I understand, but yes, it may be hard when you're already aroused and you at this point and like to stop, but you need to, because actions have consequences. And I believe someone that truly loves you would be okay with that. If I tell you stop, you should be able to stop because you actually care for me.
Exactly. And just because something was a yes in the moment of comfortability, the moment something gets uncomfortable, somebody is allowed to sit there and tell you no. And I have heard this from various sides, from men and women who talk about like consent, and like the amount of people that I know who have been sexually abused in some shape, way, or form is absolutely disgusting. And that's because nobody wanted to take the word NO and they just wanted to continue ON. And it's just like, that is not okay. That's
No, it's
not okay.
unacceptable.
Let the no be the no and let the yes be the yes. And understand when somebody's sitting there telling you and it's like speaking to you about their uncomfortability, you don't need to coach and coerce them, coerce them into being like, nah, it's okay. Like, you're going to love it. If I don't like it right now, let me grow to that.
Yeah.
Let me sit there and be able to tell you, okay, I'm willing to try it this day. You know?
Especially something so intimate that I feel like for if to be like pleasurable for both sides needs to feel like I want to do this and be let loose. Like, and again, like that's important. There's someone out there for everybody. If this person says no and they're not comfortable, I promise you, you will go outside and find someone that is okay with doing whatever you like. And that's okay, but don't force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to keep up and see what other details come out about the case.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, we didn't get to talk about this last week, but we wanted to make sure that we mentioned it this week, just so we can let y'all know like what our takes and opinions are. And like, if you have any opinions on it, or like you have completely differing opinions on anything that we've said, definitely let us know below. But
and on that note, let's get into our social corner.
Yes. So if you are new here or reoccurring, then you know our social corner is basically where we talk about a lot of things that we've seen trending on social media, that we've seen people talking about, and we want to basically give our own takes and opinions on. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we have been seeing this conversation of 100 men versus one gorilla. When I first saw this, I remember I sent it to Shayla and I said, girl, this is wild stuff. Like, and I thought it was just so funny. And to see like how like the conversation has basically like sparked. It's kind of like the dress thing where people were like, is the dress green and no, not green. It was the dress blue and black, or white and gold. Like that's literally what it is. And originally I had heard it as like 100 people versus one gorilla, but I've seen it transition into 100 men versus one gorilla. And all I'm saying is, as funny as this is, if y'all are taking volunteers, I want to volunteer the man who told me that going to jail is less stressful than dealing with me. I need to volunteer him because I need to see how stressed you're going to be in that situation. I bet you're going to want to come back over here.
LOL. So for me, I saw the video when you sent it to me, and I've seen it evolve of like even now sports teams are doing it, like 100 WNBA players versus a gorilla. And so my response to that is, I think that 100 people can win, but depending on who the 100 people are, because number one, I feel like we need East Coasters in this, because East Coast people are known to be aggressive and they don't back down.
She said 100 New Yorkers versus one gorilla.
Well, no, Jersey, we could also be there. Just Northeast people. Also people that are, into animals and know how to like maneuver gorillas. We need that. So if I could handpick the 100 people, I think we got it.
Honestly, I feel like it needs to be the Capitol rioters. 100 of them versus that gorilla. Listen, if y'all stampeding through the Capitol, y'all could fight a gorilla. Honestly. But also,
I can take a fun moment. So now you made me mad by mentioning those people.
I'm just saying, you need people who are courageous and don't care. Who is more courageous and don't care?
Northeast people.
Girl, you funny. I think the gorilla gonna win. I don't know why people think that they could just sit out here.
One thing with me, I am going to believe in my people.
Girl, you could believe in the people, but I'm believing in human selection. That gorilla going to lock in on you, and human selection really about to start. Yo, I've been seeing the meme. They're like, if it's 100 people versus one gorilla, it's gonna be 99 versus 2.
Given some of the 100 people gonna have to die. Like someone's gonna, I'm not saying all 100 of us gonna make it out. I'm just saying that we're gonna win. It could be just 2 people end up alive at the end. It gives is it the Hunger Games? What's the movie?
Yeah, it's like I volunteer as tribute.
Yes, a few of y'all gonna have to volunteer as tribute because it is what it is.
You're gonna have to lose 75% of your force,
but it's for a cause, to prove the point that humanity will win. Okay, y'all know the aliens. ChatGPT trying to take over. Everybody is in love with ChatGPT, and I'm glad you guys love ChatGPT down. But when ChatGPT take over your jobs and everything with life.
But I think honestly, the only way I think I would change my mind of 100 humans beating one gorilla is one, if those 100 people are the Capitol rioters, or 100 crackheads. The promise of a brick, I swear.
A crackhead gonna be gone immediately.
Nah, you have a
crack gonna take them out. Period. Have you seen a crackhead?
Shayla, you've never seen a crackhead on true strength for the promise of an ounce or something. Girl, they get real strength. I'm telling you, people not thinking this through. You give 100 crackheads the promise of a brick. I swear to goodness.
Okay, well,
comment down, gonna feed countries.
Comment down below. Who do you have winning? 100 people or the gorilla?
Oh, also, I've been seeing people say 100 women versus one spider. I said, oh yeah, you gonna have to. Y'all got it.
Oh no, I got that. I got that. Now 100 of me versus putting up something on the wall.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm gone. You hate to see it. On to the next thing. Okay, so this relationship has also been swirling on social media between Bill Belichick, right here. Let me show you guys the man, the myth, the legend. The guy on the left is an ex-NFL football coach, former NFL coach Bill Belichick, right? That's him on the left. And the one on the right is his now girlfriend. But this photo was posted by TMZ Sports a while back, right? And this is supposedly how they met. They met on an airplane, At least that was their story, right? So it was kind of awkward when this question of how they met once again came back up, and it became a whole awkward debacle. So I have the video here, but before I play the video, I'm gonna just give you guys a little breakdown of the situation, right? So in the photo that I showed you, that was Bill Belichick. Former NFL coach Bill Belichick, he did an interview with CBS Morning's co-host Tony to promote a new book he has coming out called The Art of Winning: Lessons from My Life in Football. But no one is talking about the book, child. And that's the worst case scenario, because when you on a book tour, you want people to talk about the book, not your personal life. But no one's talking about the book. Instead, they are talking about the awkward moment that took place when Tony asked Bill about how he met his girlfriend, and things just went left. Keep in mind, before I play the video, Bill is 73 and he is dating a 24-year-old. Her name is Jordan Hudson. Okay. How old are you, Rebecca?
Mind your business. 26.
Okay, so he's dating women that are younger than us. Let's watch this clip, ladies and gents.
The other change for Belichick is 24-year-old Jordan Hudson, his creative muse, as he writes in his book.
Make sure that's the...
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview. You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on, though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram. You joined InstaFace, as you put it. I love that. There's some great pictures of you and Jordan, where you're a fisherman and she's a mermaid. It's charming. It's a different side of you. What's the reaction been like?
What's it been like?
To have these different sort of photos. There's another one where you're doing, I know you're not into meditation or yoga or Pilates. You're balancing Jordan on your feet. And she's doing kind of the Titanic pose.
Yeah, so I'm on some of those social media platforms, but I honestly don't follow them.
Okay, so you guys see it. The people are like, if you guys already had a story about like how you met, first of all, the fact that she interjected in the interview to be like, oh, he not answering that or we're not answering that is kind of like odd. But also people have already said like this is a track record. This girl, well, I shouldn't say this girl, she got a name, Jordan, has kind of been seen as like controlling Bill. And people are just like, what is happening to this man? Like, it kind of gave like he didn't even know that like the photos of them together were made public on Instagram. So that's kind of what has been like spoiling around. Now he became a coach for a college football team, and photos have been released of like her being at the practices and kind of like telling people what to do. And even what's the guy from TNT, Chuck, I think his name is Chuck.
Yeah.
So Chuck also did an interview and they asked him about Bill, and he even said like, oh, I'm kind of concerned because like the Bill that I know was XYZ, and now it gives like this girl is controlling this man and his future. What did you get from this little clip?
Yeah, it's weird because one, as something as small as how did y'all meet shouldn't be that big of an issue. I mean, unless y'all met in some like mysterious, like should have never met that way type of way. That's weird. But I think to me, it was the pause. Like when they showed like the photo of them, like, oh, the yoga pose kind of.
Yeah.
I think to me, like, that's what really more like made me look like, it was like, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but it was like the pause. Cause he was like thinking like,
well, that's why people are like so scared. Is it like, is she feeding stuff for him to say, or like, it was just all gives very weird. And like they already had a story of how they met, whether it's true or not is a whole other thing. But like, if you already had a made up story of how y'all met, why not just say that story? Like, why are you making it? Like, you would have thought they said, oh, you are pregnant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a story that you already had. If it's fabricated.
I think also my problem is, it's like, I think, listen, we talked about it with Shannon Sharpe and we already got on him, and I'm not about to be like, I'm a bash a black man and uplift the white man. Like, that is never going to be.
We are not uplifting that.
I know. I'm saying like, this is weird. Like Shannon Sharpe, his situation, minus like the lawsuit portion, like him dating younger girls is weird. But like this Bill and this girl, this is strange, right? Yeah. Like you, and like we talked about a 20-year-old messing with a 50-plus-year-old, like 54-year-old, and we said that the mindsets are completely different. At 73, like, I'm not saying also, I know like 70-year-olds who are sharp as a tack, but I also know some who are deteriorating, right? And it's just like, to me, I'm like, where do y'all find, like, where do y'all think y'all meet? Like, I get it. They're different.
I don't.
Like, differences attract, opposites attract, but also there's nothing bonds like common ground. Where is y'all common ground? Like, this is where I'm saying, like, where in the relationship and the dynamic do y'all feel like y'all relate to one another? And like, to your point, I've seen photos of them like because we mentioned he got a job at a college or a university or something like that. I see a lot of photos with them two together.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what do you have going for yourself, sis? Like, I feel like you are in every single photo. Even
he's what she got going for himself.
But like, my thing is, like, even at the interview, why are you sitting on the couch? Like, isn't there a green room for you to sit in? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. He's the coach for UNC. I wanted to say that, University of North Carolina.
Yeah, I think the whole dynamic is very strange. Even before this interview, I already looked at it like, what was the reason?
And also, like, we're in our mid to late 20s. This girl is younger than us. I can't even fathom dating a 70-year-old. I don't care how much money you have, I just don't think you can look me in the eye again, the same way I said about Shannon Sharpe, and tell me. That's why I said there's a track record with these men that have status, have money. Yes, the reality is that they can get anyone that they want, because there are women that are okay. Again, it's all about consent. If you are okay with just being a man's puppet because they give you everything, if it's consensual, I'm all for it, Buki. You do you. But then when it becomes like toxic, it gives weird. I hope that they're gonna be under the radar, right? Like the college football season will start probably, not too long from now. And them cameras, honey, they're going to be front and center on this coach. Exactly. And even like the university put out a statement. You know how weird that is about this whole situation? Like, she gonna have to take a step back and find something else to do with his money, because she can't be interjecting with what he trying to do at the
school. I like how you split in his money.
I mean, she probably got her own coins now. There was another article that popped up about, like, now she has all these real estate houses and apartments. So, girl, focus on the real estate and let your man focus on his football.
Yeah, because you too active in his lifestyle right now. Like,
so on that point, let's talk. Oh my God, we've been really men heavy this week, but it is what it is. We gotta clock the T. Nick Cannon. Okay.
Yes. Him and his cojones. Go ahead.
Yes. So Nick Cannon says his balls, yes, are his most valuable asset after insuring them for $10 million. Okay.
Matter of fact, put him in the 100 men against the gorilla.
Girl, if it's 100 Nick Cannons, then the gorilla will win. In a recent podcast episode of Tea Time with Raven and Miranda, yes, that's Raven from That's a Raven. Nick was asked to clear up some rumors regarding a $10 million insurance policy on his testicles. Mm-hmm. And let's take a listen to what he had to say, honey, because he did clear up the rumors.
That's the thing. I personally didn't. Someone else took the insurance policy out on them. Funny enough, I mean, it started off like, this would be a good joke, but we really went through with it. Dr. Squatch, who is like, they're known for like, manscaping and all that stuff. They were like, a lot of celebrity women are insuring their legs in case something goes wrong.
Heidi Klum.
Yeah. And they were like, well, what's your most valuable asset, Nick? I was like, my balls.
Insure them.
And I got the insurance policy in my office. It's like it's
so
legit.
How do you call in that insurance claim? Like, what happens?
Yeah, we actually went back and forth with this because it's like, all right, it's $5 million per testicle, and like if I happen to lose one, all the money goes to my kid.
Rebecca, take it away. You're on mute, by the way.
Thank you. Nick Cannon has always been real corny to me, right? I feel like I used to like to see him all wilding out and stuff like that, but the moment he started thinking that he needed to create his own legion of children, I'm like, oh, you real corny, you real loose with your sperm, and it's really giving like you need to slow down a little bit. Insuring your balls is real, like, sir.
I mean, kudos to the fact that this is not coming out of his pocket. Someone else brought it up to his attention and they said, would you be willing to do this? And he sure enough agreed to it. So this is coming out of someone else's pockets, but just the idea of it is just so weird. And after this clip was posted online, one of his baby mothers like reshared it or said something along the lines of like, you haven't seen your kid in a month. And it's just like, okay, but I just don't get it. But again, I'm not gonna clock no one's money.
Honestly.
And I just don't like how, like, I think being a parent is it's like a big responsibility. You know what I mean? And I know that him having his testicles being insured doesn't take away from him being a father, but like, I don't know. It's just weird.
So, one, I feel like the other side of it, this conversation is way outside of my tax bracket because I couldn't even sit there and tell you I got the money to insure my coochie pooch like at all. But if
someone else came up to you and be like, "Oh, what's your most valuable asset?" and you say your cooch patooch, and they were willing to insure your cooch patooch for 10 million, you saying yes, right?
I mean, if I can't insure the whole me, a part of me, sure.
Right.
You know, but also I feel like I don't got the same amount of mileage as he do on his like the whole lower half. Like he got way more mileage than any of us. And like to your point, right? So his other baby mother saying you haven't seen your child in months or whatever like that. This was one of the problems that a lot of people were saying when they said Nick Cannon was going to Nick Cannon's having all these children. One of the main things we have been saying is you cannot spread your time evenly amongst all your children. If you want to be an active father, and like you say you are going to be, also we're not in his life. We don't know what his schedule looked like because on top of him being a father, he also got businesses and different investments and different stuff that he has to look at also. But what I'm saying is like to be an active parent is being there emotionally, mentally, physically. And if you already are lacking physically, then you can't really be there all the time emotionally and mentally. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, this is one of the issues that we were always saying when we were saying like Nick Cannon's having all these children, because it's like you can't be as active as you say or claim that you would like to be because you're going to fall short in one way. Some children might get more time with you because of location and everything like that compared to your other children. So it's like, I think as a society, as a generation, I know we've seen older generations having 10, 15, 11 kids and stuff like that, but that was with your significant other, or like there was some type of dynamic within that, right? I just feel like everybody's just having kids and like seeing what happens. And it's just like the moment that we have these people who are not active in these children's lives, that's when you want to sit there and go on social media and bash. But like, what from the dynamic that y'all had made you think that this was going to be a conducive type of partnership when it came to having children? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I 1,000% understand. I feel like when by the time you got to baby mother number 4, we have to, again, life happens. Right. But if a new baby mother comes out from Nick Cannon, I am so sorry, but I wouldn't feel bad for that woman if he doesn't show up and is there and isn't a present father, because look at all, you know what I mean? Again, the track record is already there. And if you are willing to just have a child with somebody just because they have the funds, and raising a kid is more than just money, because that's not enough. Just because you have money doesn't mean that you're able to have 30 kids no. You need to be present. The dailies, like when your kid comes home from school, helping them, like, how was your day at school? Like, being present sometimes is more valuable than money. Because it's like anyone could give you money, well, not anyone, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just different.
Where they
so yeah,
I mean, congratulations to him. Your balls are insured.
They are in fact valuable. If someone gets a piece,
but
he will get his coins.
The same way you insured your balls, where a lot of the sperm that help create a children are your physical children who are out here. Are they insured with time? Are they insured mentally? Are they insured emotionally? Financially? Yeah, sure. But
He
yeah,
says that the money from the insurance would go to his children, not him.
right. That's if something happened to him, sir. You still kicking and breathing right now. So that even then, you still, if something happened to you physically, you gonna sit there and not be there too. So it's just like, yeah,
Tomato, tomato.
right. You not
On
really
to
not doing much to me.
the Knicks.
Yes. So this is a conversation that I've been seeing on TikTok. This had happened. There was a post that was posted like in January, and like the conversation was basically brought up again. So basically, hold on, this thing is acting up. Got it. So TikToker jalennoble addressed online rumors claiming that his Texas property that he shares with, who's his girlfriend, and she's also a popular TikToker. Her name is MonetmcMichael, was once a plantation and slave quarters. So the speculation arose after Monet posted a workout video that she filmed in their home gym, which some users believe was converted into a slave quarters barn. So Jalen clarified in a TikTok video that while the guest house on the property was built in 1850, it was an early settler's cabin later turned into a hunting lodge with no ties to slavery. He further explained that the barn was built in 1999 and the main house in 2016. Jalen emphasized the pride that he feels as a Black homeowner of a historic property. While Monet has not directly responded to the backlash, she reposted Jalen's explanation, and many fans have since come to their defense, calling for apologies from critics who spread the false claims. So basically, when they bought this house, he was showing it off, and he was just like, when he was showing it off, he didn't really know what one of the locations was in the back of the home, right? And that from there, mind you, when I saw this video back, I want to say in January, maybe February, I saw a lot of people saying like, y'all are trying to play in people's face, like this is like a play, like a clearly a location that was owned for slaves back in the day and stuff like that. And then once he came out with this and he said that he got somebody, I have the video, I'm gonna show it to you guys. But once he said that he got like somebody to investigate and give them like a real understanding of the property and everything like that, they're saying the people who he hired are saying this has no ties to slavery. So all the backlash that they were getting before, fans are now saying to the same people who were sitting there running their mouths saying, oh, y'all were saying that this was a slave property. How dare you guys buy this? Especially as people who have like, you know, Black heritage within you and stuff like that. Like, why would y'all even buy something like that? And now they're saying, y'all, as loud as the disrespect is, the apology needs to be just as loud. Now let me play the video for you. Where is it? Oh, it's right here.
So I'm currently in my renovation era. I think it's been a lot of fun to renovate my current home gym, but now we're getting ready to renovate my guest house, and I want to take you with me. And I've started the interior decorating process that I want to show you, but I also want to talk about what I plan to do with my guest house and the history behind it. And for the history, I hired a genealogist and reached out to an architectural historian to tell me everything I need to know about this cabin. First, this was an early settler's cabin, which converted to a hunting lodge and now currently serves as my guest house. I also found out that someone with the last name Noble used to live here, which I thought was pretty cool. And with this house being built in 1850, I do want to acknowledge the fact that I feel an overwhelming sense of empowerment every time I see it. There are no ties to slavery on this property, but as a Black man, I am able to own a house that 175 years ago we were not able to. And it sits in the middle of my courtyard, which has my gym and my main house in it, so I'm excited to kind of update this guest house to make it a little more presentable. And I think that starts with refreshing the porch. It needs some new wood to make it a little more modern. And this is the side of the guest house you'll see first, so I think adding some trellises with some star jasmines going up it will really soften it. And for the interior, this is the living room. The kitchen is still a work in progress. The stovetop doesn't currently work, but still got the espresso machine. And this is the loft, which I think feels like a bedroom. And I kind of feel like I'm playing real life Sims because I see a house like this and think there's so many small details that I want to change that'll make a huge difference. Like the ones I explain are adding windows, changing the doors. I think eventually I'd love to take it down and kind of extend my house to add more space for a family. But for now, the next few years, this is the guest house.
So my whole thing when I saw all of this, I remember when I first saw it and I was like, when people were saying, oh, this looks like it's tied to slavery and stuff like that, I just kept scrolling. And so now that the conversation is back, my whole thing is, right, people who are bothered so much that this possibly had connections to slavery and stuff like that, and they're like, why would you even buy a home that could have ties to that? My thing is, it's like, if it did have ties to slavery, and I trust me, I understand the importance of history and stuff like that, what did y'all want them to do? Did you want no one to buy the property ever? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, do you get where I'm?
Yeah, I think it's just like, honestly, and this takes me back to like Asia Wilson, who is like, at this point, one of the best WNBA stars. And in her book, she talked about the importance, like she got a statue made like at South Carolina, for all her accomplishments, but it was like, it felt like an honor for her because not only did she attended a school where her grandmother wasn't even allowed to go in. So not only now did she graduate from there, but now she has a statue to, for her family to forever be ingrained in that school. And the reason why I bring that up is because if anything, wouldn't you want these slavery quarters to be owned by like Black people? Like, do you want them to be owned by more white people who might have even more ties to slavery and may still be racist? Like, you should want more Black homeowners. Like, it's already hard to get, extra money for minorities to become homeowners. It is so hard to become a homeowner. So for you to sit there and while you're in your couch, not owning a home, to be bashing someone who was able to buy a home is just like a bit weird to me. And at the end of the day, like, get in where you fit in. If you could only afford, if you could only afford this, then go ahead and do it and buy what you can. I don't really understand where the hate was coming from, because if the issue is the issue that he didn't acknowledge it, that it was like a former slave.
People were making speculations because when they first showed the house off in January,
I saw the video. I remember all of it.
Yeah, like people were making speculations.
Who cares? Like, who cares? That's what my question is. Like
that's what I'm saying. My whole thing is like, I'm like, even if it was that, and like the house, I believe the house is located in Texas. I'm like, I mean, it's a little, they're saying it has no connections. I don't know, because Texas. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, y'all are I feel like because people are mad that the fact that like maybe it's not because it's not them, or maybe they just choose to, like you mentioned, fit in when you get in. Like, you don't fit into that tax bracket to be able to buy your own home or nothing like that y'all feel like y'all got something to say. But it's like, even if it did have slave ties, did you want no one to buy the home?
Yeah, I feel like it is misplaced anger, because the reality is that history is surrounded by all of us, right? Like, yes, we may be in the Northeast, but like, racism and slavery, it might not have been as like out there as it was in like other states, but it was happening here. So I'm sure there are certain places where I go that have ties to slavery, but I don't know about it. You know what I mean? Like, most homeowners do not buy a house and are like, oh, well, and I also need the history of all of these, like,
right.
Please. They worried about like, what's your credit score? How much do I have to put down? Like, those types of things. And I think, again, social media is a double-edged sword, because, this person does make hella money from showing his lifestyle and what he does. So people feel like they have a right to say and speak their mind and get in their business. But the reality is that I just don't understand. What do you want? Wouldn't you be happy that, a Black person is able now to own what was once a slavery something? Like, I just don't like, I get it. I don't understand it. I was also seeing this, but my main thing was just like, I don't understand why. Like, what do you want him to do? And like the Monet aspect of it, this is not Monet's house.
Like, I just don't understand. And even though, like, even when people are sitting there saying like, oh, you potentially bought a house with like slave ties, I'm like, if you live in Texas, if you live in all these different areas, you live in all these different states, every place has connections, like you mentioned. So it's like, are you going to move away from Texas? Are you going to move away from this location because there's slave ties?
But slavery was a part of everywhere, all around the United States.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, so like, what are y'all going to do? Y'all going to get mad at like whoever, like who y'all going to get mad at? Like,
Instead, we should be celebrating and being happy when people are able, especially minorities, they're able to have property, because those are assets that for a very long time we weren't allowed to have.
Exactly.
And also, like, what's this other? I think you know this. This other family that is now like creating their own house. I think it's
you're talking about the Jayla Henry.
yes. And her husband is like, I guess he's like a designer and like he also creates videos. Like stuff like that makes me happy because I love seeing minorities succeed, like getting their own house, getting property, because that is hard. So when you are able to get those things done, that is something that you should be proud of. So I hate tearing people down. And maybe if you don't agree with my viewpoint, please comment down below, and maybe I'm just not understanding or seeing the full picture as to what if like
what's the problem?
what do you want Jalen to do if it is in fact a home
like
that
if
was
it did, like if he's telling y'all it doesn't, and
but
y'all
let's say it was, then what do
right.
you what do you
like what did you want the next
what do
step
you need him to do for you to feel better?
like I don't know, but let us get into our sports corner.
Tell him this, did he miss? Junior want to not be on my
Hey, as you can tell, Shayla and I are very excited right now. Why? Because we are in the NBA and the WNBA season's about to start as well.
Yes. Preseason begins today for the WNBA.
So we're going to talk about the NBA first, and then we're going to get more into like the WNBA and then NFL and stuff like that. But like for the NBA, we are currently in the playoffs. A lot of the first rounds are officially over, and we're about to migrate into the second round of the playoffs. But Shayla and I's team, Shayla, your team is?
The Celtics. Or the Jersey Jets, but they're not. I mean Nets, but they're not in a part of this right now.
Okay. And then I have my New York Knicks, who officially won against the Detroit Pistons yesterday. And today's Friday. My team also, the Warriors, are playing the Houston Rockets to potentially see if they can close it out to go to the second round. Or will there be a game 7 that is forced? So Shayla and I's team, we're going to focus on the Celtics and the Knicks. They are the teams going into the round 2 about to verse each other. Mm-hmm. Now, Shayla and I will not be speaking about basketball as this series commences.
That's fine with me. I don't mind.
Yeah, no.
The thing about us is like, this is like funny to me because Rebecca says that she doesn't like the Philadelphia Eagles because of their fan base. They act up, they're this or that. But the Knicks base is exactly the same.
Chill on us. And listen, I'm gonna speak for my Knicks fans right now. And if you are a Knicks fan, or when you guys see this clip, y'all let me know. Mm-hmm. There is a difference between how Philadelphia Eagles fans celebrate their team and how New York, like people who are New York Knicks fans celebrate their team. There is a difference. Okay. Philadelphia Eagles will destruct their own city.
I was gonna say something shady, but
like, I won't. What you gonna say? No. Say it. Feel free to say it.
I'm not.
Bing bong. What happened?
No, I'm not that type of person. Anyway. But anyways, it'll be very interesting to see who will make it out of the second round, and you guys will be here because we have new podcast episodes every week. So stay tuned.
And we also wanted to talk about Giannis. Yeah, his last name. Yes, I almost butchered that real bad. So they were versing the Indiana Pacers, and the game, I think it went to a game 6, or did it go to like a game?
The last game that happened to close out the series.
Long story short, the Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Indiana Pacers, and the reason why we're talking about this is because in the last game that they versed each other, where they did lose, the Bucks lost. There was an altercation basically towards the end of the game. And it was with Giannis and one of the players on the Indiana Pacers, but it was also one of the altercations with Tyrese Halliburton's father, who had came out onto the court basically and was like, And it's like at first, if you didn't see like the other videos that led up to it, you would just think like they were just having some harsh words to each other and they moved on. But what we eventually see later on is that Tyrese's dad basically walked onto the court and was like saying something to Giannis, and Giannis was like standing there staring at him at first. And then like when they were saying bye to everybody, you know, doing their regular pleasantries, like the sportsmanship, dap ups and stuff like that, that's when you see like Giannis and Tyrese's dad basically having words for each other, right? So this kind of sparked the conversation of like, when is like, what is okay and what's not okay to see for parents, right? And I remember when I was watching Inside the NBA and like basically Chuck and what's his name, Kenny, were basically saying like, that's not the proper behavior for a parent, like for a parent to act like when your son or whatever is playing in these type of games. And Shaq was saying, basically, he was on the other side of it. He was like, the father is completely entitled to doing that, because when he was in the NBA, things were much worse for him. Like parents used to say all crazy stuff and stuff like that. Right. And so like for me, what I feel like is, yes, as someone who I know, like Shayla will tell you, if I rock with you, I'm loud, I'm belligerent and everything like that. But there's also a level of respect. The court is not my field. I said field. It's not my place or my domain for me to sit there and feel like I have any entitlement to walk out onto the court and talk to no player. If I'm there to celebrate my son, if I'm walking out onto the court, I'm going on the court to talk to my son. I'm not talking to nobody else unless that player has something to say to my child. Then that's when I'm gonna have something to say to you. But it's like, if that was never the conversation and you were sitting there and antagonizing him in any type of way, what do you expect his reaction to be?
Yeah, and I also want to point out that as a result of this altercation, the Indiana Pacers organization released a statement saying that John, who is Tyrese's dad, will not be present at the Pacers' home and road games, i.e. any of their games for the foreseeable future. So essentially, he has been banned for the foreseeable future from attending any of his son's basketball games. Some people have been saying that this is an overreaction. Maybe like he can go, but he just can't be courtside. And John, who is Tyrese's dad, he also did an interview with like a local station. And in it, he said that when Giannis came up to him, what he said was like, don't disrespect me. And all like in the post game press conference, Giannis was just saying that, like, you know, people celebrate differently. It kind of goes hand in hand with what Rebecca and I were talking about in the, you know, the first clip of like, you know, the NBA finals, Knicks versus Celtics. I think it just is different. Some people are humble celebrators and others are not. They're very like in your face. And and I'm gonna be honest with you, I hate a cocky, I told like I won and you're trash. That's not who I am. But I also know people around me that are that type of stuff, that when they win, honey, everybody gonna know they win. They'll put it in their face, their head, everybody, I won, I'm a winner, I'm a winner, I'm a winner. And that's just how they move through life. And so I think it was very disrespectful. And I don't know if you guys caught this photo. This is Tyrese's dad. He was coming with this flag that you see him right here. That's what he was like taunting in front of Giannis, like with this flag of his son. Da, da, da. And again, it's just so unnecessary. Like, if you want to be happy, okay, be happy, but like stay in your little seat with your little flag and be happy for your son. We're not saying that you shouldn't be happy, but when you're taunting other players, and Giannis said it, like, I won a championship. The Pacers have not. So you know what I mean? Like, it's just so much of this like animosity. And like we've said, all actions have consequences. And so,
and like I've seen some players talking to like I forget who it was, but they were basically saying like, y'all caught the right player as well. Because if it was a different type of player, such as a Draymond Green, a Dylan Brooks, or like, I'm gonna throw it back, a Metta World Peace, like, you know, or Kevin Garnett, like if y'all was to have those type of players who like really have that don't give a F type of energy, and they sat there and did something to your father, now you would have sat there and been like, that's disrespect. Sometimes people match disrespect with disrespect, right? And I'm not saying that's right, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's a reaction. Everybody reacts to things differently. So Giannis walking up to him saying, "Don't disrespect me," was on a scale of 1 to 10 was really a nice 3.
Right.
You know?
And because with other players, it would have been more than a headbutting.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh, girl, it might have been a "what's up?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I do want to say, I do feel like banning him from going to games for the foreseeable future is a bit of a stretch. This was like, Noah is like a Celtics reporter. That's why like I always follow her on my Twitter. And she said she also believes that it was a stretch. Like banning him from being on the, court side. He could just be up in the box. And that's it. Because it's like, yes, that is his son. And we do all make mistakes. Was it right? No.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think like banning him for like the foreseeable future is very dramatic. Like, I get it, y'all are trying to send a message to say like, don't do this, but it's like you can send a message by like, okay, he's banned from the next home game, and then every game after that, he could be in a skybox seat, or he could sit in row 200. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can place him a different spot than to sit there and like, instead of making it so close for him to be able to come onto the court. I think banning him, because at the end of the day, what y'all also need to understand, that that's an active father in his son's life.
Yeah.
So it's just, yes, you could be an active father by watching him on TV and stuff like that, but it's different from being in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think like you said, they're doing it to send the message. I hope that by next season he's able to go back, maybe not courtside, but we want fathers to be there for their kids. So this next topic really just, y'all know how I feel about bullying or any of that. I don't play that. Y'all know I struggle with finding things funny. Everything is not a joke, especially not this. Okay, so and the NFL has fined the Atlanta Falcons and their defensive coordinator after his son prank called Shedeur on draft day. So they fined the Falcons $250,000 and Jeff Ulbrich, who is the defensive coordinator, $100,000 in response to the situation. So the defensive coordinator's 21-year-old son admitted to prank calling Shedeur Sanders on draft day. He apologized for what he did in a statement that he published on Instagram. And at the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders did end up getting drafted, not on draft day, but he was selected in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL draft by the Cleveland Browns. So he was the 144th overall pick. Mind you, the fact that he was drafted so late in the draft was seen as a surprise, because in a lot of draft boards, especially in the beginning, he was being, in mock drafts, being expected to be like a top 5 draft pick, but he ended up being selected in the 5th round. So let me share with you guys the video of this prank that I imagine, like, we don't know because we're not athletes, but like, let's just watch this clip, because I just can't. You worked all your life to make it to.
Hey, is this Shedeur? This is Mickey Loomis here, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. How you doing? This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints. How you doing? Good. How are you, man? Good. Been waiting on you. Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man. We're gonna take you with our next pick right here, man. This doesn't do nothing to do. Hey, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, man. Sorry about that. Okay.
So the guy that actually did the prank call, he wasn't the son, the guy with like the hoodie. The son was the guy that was to his right. And just imagine, you worked all your life to make it to the league, whether that's NFL, NBA, soccer, whatever sports you've been playing. And these two guys, they seem like they also play sports. And so for you to go to your father's iPad, look for Shedeur Sanders' contact information, and think that it was cute to prank call him on draft day, is so, I don't think there's enough money to be able to pay back from that. And also, it's even more infuriating because they're trying to paint this whole picture about Shedeur Sanders, why a lot of the leagues or franchises didn't want to pick him in the top whatever selections. Oh, because he's too much, or he's all this, and like he's too flashy, he's too this. And it's like, let's be for real. It's actually so annoying, the fact that you thought that was cute.
My whole thing, right, when I saw this prank, the first thing that came to my mind is that child ain't never got his behind whooped a day in his life. And if that was my son, CP, bless you. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to. Your heart skips a beat when you sneeze. I just want to
thank you, but you don't need to say bless you anymore.
So back to what I was saying. Like, you can tell that child ain't never got his behind beat a day in his life. And the reason why, like, I was so infuriated about that is because there's multiple things that bother me about this. One, you actively went through your father's iPad or whatever it was to get this phone number with the intent of doing this, right? So you purposely did this, and for that your apology is null and voided because you knew what you were doing. Like, the moment that you start taking all these precautions to do whatever you want to do and set an action in motion, and it is to be deceitful in any type of way, it's like your apology is automatically null and voided because you knew what you were doing.
And also, you posted the video, or someone posted it, or I don't like how. And I don't like to call people dumb, but you gotta be dumb. Like, I don't know if he posted it or someone else posted it. Like, you know, Shedeur Sanders is seen as like a celebrity, so why? It's like F around and find out type of vibe, because maybe this would have gone under the radar if you did a prank call with like a no name, like 190th pick that has no fame.
That still doesn't make it right, though. But
no,
like,
it does not make it right. But what I'm saying is, you decided to prank somebody. Mind you, I believe they were like Twitch streaming, at least for the second day, the whole situation. There was cameras all around. So, like, it's just so very much.
And to your point, it's very stupid. Like, the wheels on the bus are moving, but the tires got shot out. Like, that's literally what it's giving. And like, my second point that irritated me about this is like, do you know how much of a privilege it has to be for you to not even think for a second that you doing this, or you calling, or you using your father's connections to do this could ultimately impact the livelihood of your family? Like, do you know how much of a luxury that has to be for you to sit there and be like, oh yeah, blase blah, and let me just do this, and not think, oh, what kind of repercussions could this have to my father? Like, do you, like,
the math is not mathing.
And if me as a sports team, I'm sorry, but
I would have to fire you.
You would have to go, my love,
because I can't trust you now.
Because, like, one, why is it so easy for your son to get into your iPad or whatever it is? Two, where are you keeping this stuff? And three, how are you raising your son for him to be so stupid? Like, I don't understand. Like, and I think I've been seeing that, like, Shedeur Sanders, like, jersey has been like, he's got like one of the highest like selling jerseys that we've seen in only like a draft pick in like, I think forever or in years or something like that. And it's just like, I'm happy that's happening for him, but it's like, I feel like the level of disrespect to get to the point where he officially got drafted was very prevalent, because I think, you know how we've mentioned before, we are in these bubbles where we see things, we see people, and we see people who share the same type of opinions and likes and stuff that we have. So to me, I was one of those people who was of the belief that Shedeur Sanders was going to get picked high. If not one, then I was thinking maybe top 5.
I thought he was coming to the Giants.
And then my Giants got some random dude who I ain't never seen before.
He probably is good, but again, because he was projected to be so high, for him to then be taken in the 5th round is.
And it's like, and people keep making these comparisons that Tom Brady was chosen at this, and that's great, fine, and dandy. Everybody's path is completely different. So who knows? Like, I want to have all the belief I want to have in Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Like, just my thing is, it's just like people do things to purposely play in your face sometimes. And it's just like when people play in your face, I need Shedeur Sanders to take all this disrespect, this little prank call, the jokey jokes, everything. And I need him to go out and be the best that he can be.
And also, I don't think we could ever cross paths. If you that son that thought you was slick and funny, I better not see you in no Atlanta Falcon game. Like, and again, that's just me because I hold grudges. And I know how some people feel. Let me just not see you.
I might have to give you a little chin slap.
Because the apology was, I don't care about that.
That's what I'm saying. The apology really mean nothing to me if you was sitting here like you knew what you were doing. You saw everything you put into motion. Like, and if
you're not 5 years old, you a whole grown, you in college or I don't care. You are old enough to know that what you did
was, you know, right from wrong and wrong from right. Like, that's literally what it is. But we could literally
on to the next,
right?
Because it's already hot enough, honey.
Girl, okay. So the next thing we're about to talk about, it's not even going to simmer us down even an ounce. It's actually going to irritate me even more. So Saquon Barkley defends his personal hangout with Trump. So y'all already know Saquon Barkley. I've had some opinions of him over the continuation of the NFL season because he was on my Giants. The Giants didn't want to pay him. He went to the Eagles. He was breaking records and he ended up winning the Super Bowl. So it's just like this man has been on a track of like ascending. You know what I'm saying?
Descending. You see how quick life is? Go up and then you go down.
Okay, so he was at the when the Philadelphia Eagles visited the White House to celebrate the NFL championship. Their quarterback Jalen Hurts did not attend. I just want to mention that as well because you know I like Jalen Hurts. I just don't like the organization team that he's a part of. Right. So when they were going to go visit the White House, it was seeing photos of basically Saquon Barkley and Trump. I believe they were playing golf and there was photos of them. Yes. And so people were like, this like spread like wildfire on social media because people were like, ew, basically. And so then do you have the statement?
Yeah, but before we continue, Jalen Hurts said that he couldn't attend the White House celebration due to scheduling conflicts.
Right.
The people now are using that as a joke. When they don't want to go somewhere, they're just going to say, I have a scheduling conflict. And I can't even lie. I've used that before. All right. So this was his response, Saquon's tweet about the situation.
Oh, I can't even see this.
Okay, I'll read it. It says, LOL, some people are really upset because I played golf and flew to the White House with the president, all caps. Maybe I just respect the office. Not a hard concept to understand. Just golfed with Obama not too long ago and look forward to finishing my round with Trump. Now, y'all get out of my mentions with all this politics and have an amazing day.
And it's like, I love, like truly love when people like, listen, we understand people are going to support who they want to support, right? But because of who you support, you can't get mad at people looking at you sideways. Now, granted, let me mention this. We don't know who he supported, right? I can't speak for him. I can say I have an inkling.
Well, actually, I'm not even going to say that. But he is in an interracial relationship with a white woman. And she has also been under fire recently because she has since deleted some tweets of her using the N-word. It might have just been some lyrics, but also, girl, you know what
she also went and bagged her N-word. So look how the world works, right? So anyway, right. So my whole thing is, right, I love when people mention this, like, oh, don't make everything about politics, but you actively mention something with politics when you say, oh, I support the office. That's a political stance. It is. Right. So it's like, honestly, the moment you say, oh, like, don't get in here with all this political stuff, sir, you already mentioned you got to pick one. which one you want to be. You want to be on the political side, or you don't want to be on the political side, right? And then you mention, oh, I just was doing stuff with Obama. There are no photos of that. So clearly one used you for a photo op while the other one used you for a hangout. So it's like, what is your next statement, right? So it's like, if this is who you support and this is who you are, whatever like that, and if that is what you wanted to do, you don't even need to issue a statement. If you was rocking with your decision, I think that's another problem that I feel like I have with celebrities. Not everything needs a statement. If you believe and you stand by what you want to do that. If people gonna sit there and make all these opinions, all these statements, all these thought things and everything like that, let them do that. That don't got nothing to do with me. If I support what I do, if I support of my decision, there's nothing you gonna tell me that's gonna make me sit there and be like, I need to address this and clarify my stand. Nah, baby, I did it. And what's next?
Yeah, I just think the NFL, especially after Colin Kaepernick got, blackballed from the NFL from, standing up for his people. I think the NFL and racism has always been in politics. There's always going to be that conversation. And I think it is a privilege in itself to think that you are above having to talk about politics, or like, oh, politics doesn't affect me, therefore I do what I want. My whole thing is, believe what you want to believe. If I don't know, like Rebecca said, I don't know who Saquon is for, but like, if you are a Trump supporter, stand by that. But just know, if anything goes left with you and your people, do not expect the Black community to go all hands on deck and be fighting for the rights of Saquon Barkley. Because it's just so, like, how many people were so excited when Saquon, well, even me, I was like, oh, let's talk about it, because he signed like the biggest deal ever. And like, then just to see like that same person turn around and like willingly choose to be hanging out around someone that is making life harder for, maybe not you, because you are privileged and you are part of the NFL. So, your lifestyle is not the same as everyday people, but like, you willingly choosing to hang out with someone that is making people that look like you lives miserable is just very like, and the locker room tension is going to be very weird, because like, you willingly chose to just be golfing with this man.
I saw a list of like who they said who of the Eagles like weren't at the White House, and they're like,
yeah.
When I say I'm an Eagles fan, these are the players I say this is who I mean. And I was dying because I was like, yo, y'all funny. But like, yeah, to your point, when something happens and things like that happen and you are a minority and you quick to be like, rah, 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 why are you not saying Black Lives Matter? Because Black lives do matter. Yours just doesn't, too much, in my opinion. But we can move on to
that's a Rebecca point. The next thing I want to do before we wrap it up, because we have been hella over time, but in honor of us kind of missing the topics last week, we get a pass, I guess. I do want to mention the fact that the WNBA season is upon us. Today, preseason begins. And if you have never watched a WNBA game, I suggest that you tap in. The league is growing. There is more players, new teams. The Valkyries are the equivalent of like the Golden State Warriors. This will be their inaugural season. So excited for them doing their big one. Paige Beckers is now part of the Dallas Wings, so she will be making her WNBA debut. I don't know if you count preseason, but today will be her first game, and I'm super excited. This will be I'm forgetting her name, Indiana Fever, Caitlin's first, well, actually second season. So for everyone that's like loves Caitlin down, she's gonna be better now, because this will be her second year in the league. And I'm excited for her. Angel Reese, hello, second season, the Chicago Sky. But I do want to mention, it is kind of heartbreaking, the number of injuries that have already been announced before the season even started. Like, Georgia Amore was just drafted to the Washington Mystics, and it was just reported that she broke her ACL. So it's just so like upsetting, so many injuries, so many this. And I remember you talked about this in two weeks ago about how they have such a quick turnaround, unlike the men. Like,
yeah.
No,
I was gonna say, like, They got such a quick turnaround because I was just texting you about the draft, and now we're already into the preseason. Like I think, yes, I get it. Like it's real cool. Like you ain't never like you with the hype at all times. Like it don't even get time to die down or nothing like that.
Yeah,
I'm like, Dad, give me a minute.
exactly. And also, I feel like it has to be very like draining on your body. Like you just, especially if you made it to the tournament, you have been playing it like every other day. Now you have to fly to wherever you get drafted to, doing all this media, all this prep, all this to then start the whole season, and that's gonna be like endless games.
It's very boom, 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 boom. You know,
I know it's another club, no sleep, another club, another club. So, anyways, we are super excited for the WNBA season. We hope the girlies stay healthy, and let the games begin. Go Liberty! But I am also rooting for a lot of players that are in all different teams, but go Liberty always. And thank you guys. If you made it this far, we appreciate you. Comments. What emoji am I gonna say? Comment the waves emoji because I'm ready to go to the beach. What emoji you want?
Wow. Comment a pink flower because I don't know if y'all your girl looking real like she was a fairy. Yeah, she was a fairy.
LOL. Shout out to the TikTok trend. So if you made it this far, comment the wave emoji and a pink flower. We appreciate you guys. Please make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Too Much SB. And we'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.